Students, welcome once again to the Awal Academy of Education. In today's video, we are going to discuss here with ICSE Class is 8, subject is Biology and chapter is 5th, Endocrine System. Right, book is again yours, Srijan ICSE Biology by Professor Veerbala Rastogi. Right, so here is the chapter 5 of your book, that is Endocrine System. Right, so endocrine system is one of the various systems of our body. So you know, our body is made up of different systems of work: circulatory system, digestive system, excretory system, so on. Endocrine system is also one of them. Right, so these systems consists of various organs and organ systems. So these organs work in a coordinated way according to timing and performance of each other. Right, so here timing and performance of one system is related to the other. Right, so for this they have to work in a coordinated manner with coordination of each other. Right, and in this coordination, the internal environment of all living beings adjusts itself to with the external stress and maintains homeostasis. Right, so what is this homeostasis? It is the steady state of physiological functions. Right, so here meaning of steady you can understand is developing, or growing, developing, growing, or happening. Gradually. And at regular intervals of time. Right, so in Hindi we can say it नियमित गति से जो बढ़ता जाए, विकसित होता जाए, that is called steady. So here steady state of physiological functions of our body. Right, so to control all these happening here in our body, there are two controlling mechanisms. So these controlling mechanisms are, number first is chemical control and second is neural control. So chemical control, for chemical control there are hormones in our body. These are secreted by a system of endocrine glands. They are also called ductless glands. Right, so these endocrine glands are called ductless glands. Right, The second system is neural control. So it is brought about by our nerve impulses, and this is related with the impulse happening in our body, right? So you have noticed one thing, in multicellular animals both chemical and neural coordinations are found, right? But in plants only chemical coordination takes place, because plants do not have nervous system. This is the basic difference. Plants do not have nervous system, right? So keep it in mind. Let us study in detail. On the next page. So here we will understand differences between the chemical and neural control. How does these things happen? So here character are given, and this is chemical control and this is neural control, right? So number first is system associated, is as we have done on studied on previous page. The system associated with chemical control is endocrine system, and neural control happens with nervous system of our body. So here these two systems control the chemical and neural control, right? So second is, what are structural component? Which structural components plays their role here? These are secretory cells which secrete some secretions, chemicals, right? And here neural control is with the help of nerve cells or neurons, right? So how does mode of transmission of messages happens? How does chemical secretion takes place? So this happens with the help of chemical messengers or hormones. Mainly they are hormones. These chemical messengers are called hormones, which are transmitted through our blood, right? Nerve impulses are transmitted through the nerve fibers, right? So what is the speed of this transmission of messages? Is there any speeds? So these messages, so or chemical messages or hormones, travel slowly, right? Their effect is shown gradually. And neural control, these messages, nerve impulses are travels rapidly, right? And what is the effect and duration of these messages? So effect of hormones is generalized or widespread, and it is on the targeted cells, right? General effect and influences targeted cells, right? मतलब जिस सेल को हमने करवाना होता है फंक्शन हमारी बॉडी ने, उस सेल को ये टारगेट करते हैं, राइट? और टारगेट ऑर्गन्स भी इनको हम बोल देते हैं, राइट? That means the organs which are influenced by a particular hormone are called target organ or targeted organs, right? We will study it in the due course. So effect of the neural control is localized, and they affect only particular muscle or gland, and these particular muscle or glands are called effectors. So here two definitions you have to keep in mind while doing the chapter. These are target cells and effectors, right? So This is our basic criteria which we have to learn in the coming parts of this chapter. Now let's move next. So now we will start here is endocrine system. What is this endocrine system? So endocrine system consists of first endocrine glands, right? These glands are without ducts, hence they are called ductless glands. So here we have to understand what are these ducts, right? Meaning of duct is a bodily tube or vessel right, carrying the secretion of a gland. So what is this duct? The duct is a bodily tube or vessel carrying the secretion of a gland, right? This is the meaning of duct. So here these ducts are not present, so these endocrine glands are called ductless glands, right? So now these ducts are not present, then how did they function? They pour their secretion directly into the blood without any duct, right? So how does this endocrine system coordinates the different organisms or organs? By producing hormones. These hormones helps in coordination of our body, right? So next, so now we will study the important component of this endocrine system. So the important components are exocrine and endocrine glands, right? So the secretory cells means the cells which gives secretions, right? Certain secretion helpful in functioning of our body. So they may be isolated, मतलब अकेले हो सकते हैं, and scattered in the body, but most of them are grouped into glands, right? या तो अकेले होंगे या वो ग्रुप में होंगे, right? Our body has two types of glands. These are exocrine and endocrine glands, right? So some glands have ducts and release their secretion either outside the body or like sweet, mammary or salivary glands, right? Sweet glands secrete sweet, mammary glands secrete milk, or salivary glands in our mouth secretes saliva, right? Or they may be inner, like in cavity of some organs like pancreas or liver. So these glands are called exocrine glands. So here is the definition of exocrine glands, right? So this is the figure of exocrine glands. Let us see it here in this figure by making it large. So here part A of this figure is exocrine and endocrine gland. So here A is, this part is an exocrine gland, secretes material into the duct. So this is the duct for exocrine gland. So these sweet glands secrete sweet into the duct, right? So this is the exocrine gland. Example is sweet glands. Sweet means piscina. So this is secreting material into the duct, right? So this is the duct. Here sweet is secreted. Now so let us make it short and again move on to this. So now this was exocrine glands. Now endocrine gland. This is the definition of endocrine glands. So some glands don't have duct, right? As we have read earlier, they release their secretion directly into the blood. So these are called endocrine glands, and their secretions are called hormones. So the secretions of endocrine glands are called hormones, right? So again we will see the diagram of endocrine glands. So an endocrine gland secretes hormone into blood or extracellular fluid. So here these are endocrine glands. This is endocrine gland, this is endocrine gland, this is endocrine gland. They are secreting hormones into the blood. Hormones into the blood. They secrete their hormones into this, directly into the blood, right? So these are endocrine glands, right? Examples of these are secretions of pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, etc. These are all endocrine glands. Exocrine glands were salivary glands, mammary glands, pancreas or liver, right? Now we will study the difference between the exocrine and endocrine glands, and this is important from examination point of view and last back exercise questions also, right? So as we have read earlier, exocrine glands are with ducts and endocrine are without ducts. So secretions are poured into same cavity through ducts and directly. Here there are no ducts, so they will go directly into the blood. Secretions are digestive juices and biological catalysts. Here secretions are chemical messengers or hormones. So they have brief effects. Exocrine glands, endocrine glands have prolonged effects, right? So here secretions are produced in large quantities, very large quantities. The secretions of exocrine glands, like saliva in our mouth and sweat from our body, they are produced in large quantities. Here secretions like hormones are produced in small quantities. So due to these exocrine glands, some changes in the quantity of secretion causes no disorders. Small changes in quantity of secretion causes no disorder. Basically there are no disorder due to these secretions of these glands. Small changes here secretion leads to if these hormones are produced more or less, both creates disorders or abnormalities in our body, right? So here examples of exocrine glands are salivary glands, gastric glands, intestinal glands, sebaceous glands or sweat glands. And here thyroid glands, pituitary glands, adrenal glands, pancreas, ovaries, testes. These are all our endocrine glands, and they are without ducts. Here they are without ducts. No, sorry, with ducts. Exocrine glands are with ducts. Endocrine are without ducts. Right? So let us move on to the next. So next here is hormones. So students, what are hormones? We keep on hearing, learning hormones, but actually what they are. Hormones are actually chemical regulators or chemical messengers of our body. They are produced by ductless glands. Ductless glands are called endocrine glands. Right? So because they are ductless, so the hormones are directly poured into the blood. Right? So they circulate throughout our body, but through the blood, but they influence only specific organs for which they are meant. So this here is these specific organs are called target organs. That is, the organs which is influenced by particular hormone is called target organs. Right? So here the functioning of endocrine glands, or the amount of hormone produced, is controlled directly or indirectly by the nervous system. So our nervous system controls the functioning of endocrine glands, due to which secretion of hormones is controlled. Right? So as you know, some hormones are secreted outside our body, and these are called pheromones or ectohormone. Right? What is the difference between hormones and pherohormones? Pherohormones are secreted outside our body. Right? Pherohormones are a type of hormone which are secreted outside of our body. Right? And do they help in any function? Yes, they help in reproduction of sex, male or female, mating behavior, and alarm reactions in insects. Right? Pherohormones were studied in some insects like bees, but they are also secreted by all higher animals. Right? Mostly they are shown in the insects. So now we will do characteristics of hormones. So first character of hormones is, hormones are secreted by ductless glands or endocrine glands directly into the blood. This is first function. Number second is, they are produced in one organ but influence the functioning of some other organs, which is called target organs. Keep it in mind, this definition, target organ. Here is also definition of target organ. So third function is, they are required our body in very small amount. Right? So as soon as they complete their work, they are destroyed by our body. Number fifth, their hyper secretion. अगर वो ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस करेगी बॉडी, सो वो भी डेफिशिएंसी होगी. दैट इज, और if our body it produced it less, that is hyposecretion, that will also a deficiency. So it causes different types of disorders in our body. We will study it in the next part of this chapter. So hormones are organ specific, right? Though they are circulated throughout our body through the blood, yet they influence functioning of their targeted organs, right? So chemical nature of these hormones is they may be proteins, polypeptides, amino acid or their derivatives means their parts, or steroid, they may be steroids, right? So let us move on to the next page. Now we will study endocrine glands in our body. So students, the main endocrine glands in our body are pituitary, thyroid gland, parathyroid, adrenal gland, pancreas, testes and ovaries, right? But in your course there are only 4. These are thyroid, adrenal, pituitary and pancreas, right? So first of the glands is the thyroid gland, right? So keep in mind this thyroid is the largest gland of endocrine system, right? So where it is located? It is located in our neck region, this region, right, at the base of larynx, right? Here is the right lobe of our thyroid, here is the left lobe of our thyroid, right? So now the 2 lobes are connected by a band called isthmus. These 2 lobes are connected by a band called isthmus. Here is the isthmus, right? And this is our trachea through which we respire. This is our larynx, right? This is larynx, this is trachea, and this thyroid is situated here at the base of the larynx, right? So functions of this thyroid are basically it secretes a hormone, very important hormone, thyroxine, which contains iodine. So thyroxine contains iodine, please keep it in mind. This thyroxine, what is the function of this thyroxine hormone? It regulates general metabolism of our body, growth and development of the body. So its secretion is also controlled by a hormone secreted by the pituitary gland. We will study in the next part. So इस थायरॉक्सिन का ज़्यादा या कम होना भी एक डेफिशिएंसी है. सो हाइपर सिक्रीशन ऑफ थायरॉक्सिन, फर्स्ट इज हाइपर सिक्रीशन ऑफ थायरॉक्सिन. इट causes increased metabolic rate, and our heart will give a faster heartbeat. Increased pulse rate will also increase due to excess of thyroxine. We will feel restlessness, nervousness and bulging eyes, right students? So our eyes will be bulging if our body will produce hyper secretion of the thyroxine, right? So now that's why doctors whenever your heartbeat whenever doctor checks your increased heartbeat regularly, they will first test your thyroid, right? Now it was hypersecretion, now we will move on to the hyposecretion of this thyroxine. So when we are in the childhood, it results in the hyposecretion of thyroxine results in cretinism, which is retarded physical and mental growth. Retarded means less physical and mental growth, and in adults it causes myxoedema, that is sluggish metabolism and swelling on face, hands and body, and simple goiter is also caused by it. It's hyposecretion. What is goiter? Goiter is enlargement of thyroid gland that appears swelling in the neck. Here this is the enlargement of the thyroid gland, so our neck will swollen, feel like swollen. So main reason is deficiency of iodine in food, in our food is or in our diet. Deficiency, if our diet is iodine deficient, so we will feel that can cause simple goiter. Use of iodized salt is its remedy, simple remedy, use of iodized salt, right? So let us move on to the next, that is adrenal glands. So students, adrenal glands in our body is located, it is basically it is in pair, right? It is attached to the top of both our kidneys like a cap. Here you see our kidneys are like wearing caps, right? Each adrenal gland, here this is the cross section of the adrenal gland, right? So each adrenal gland consists of two parts. The outer part is called adrenal cortex. Here is cortex, you may call it as adrenal cortex, and the inner part is called adrenal medulla. Here is outer part, adrenal cortex, and this is the inner part, that is adrenal medulla, right? Now we will study the secretions made by these adrenal glands. So secretion made by these adrenal glands are number first is hormones. Hormones secreted by the adrenal cortex. So both parts of this adrenal gland, that is cortex and medulla, secretes hormones. So the hormones secreted by adrenal cortex are called cortical hormones or corticoids. They are mainly steroids. And the hormones secreted by adrenal medulla, that is inner part, they are called adrenaline. Main hormone is adrenaline or epinephrine, right? And non-adrenaline, norepinephrine, right? So function of these adrenal glands are these corticoids, that is corticoids secreted by adrenal cortex, they regulate metabolism of the nutrients, right? Like nutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Salt water balance, they maintain our salt water balance, Which parts keep our salt water balance? They are corticoids. They are released by adrenal cortex, right? So amount of urine formed in our body also regulated by them, and they also act as sex hormones, influencing development of secondary sexual characters in our body. You will see in the next part of this chapter. So these were the functions of corticoids, that is the hormones released by the adrenal cortex, outer part of the adrenal gland. So hormones released by adrenal medulla are, they prepare our body for quick action. So adrenaline is basically called an emergency hormone, emergent hormone, because it is released at the time of emergent conditions, stress conditions, when our body feels, right? So it prepares the body for quick actions to meet any emergency situation, like for fighting or for flight, right? That is, when we face any danger or to run away, so it directs our body to run away from the situation or to face the situation. It increases the rate of heartbeat, blood pressure, and blood glucose level. So at the time of fight, or that's why when at the time of our fight or any danger situations, adrenaline rush in our body. So that is called adrenaline rush, right? Or when we feel emotional stress, an extra amount of adrenaline increases our body metabolism and give us more energy, increase blood supply to our muscles. That's why we punch our enemy, right, in the situation, right? So noradrenaline regulates blood pressure by causing contraction of small arteries. So that's why after fight we become normal due to noradrenaline. So does any hyper and hyposecretion of these corticoids causes any trouble to our body? Yes. So hypersecretion of corticoids causes Cushing's syndrome. Cushing's syndrome. So what does it reflects? It reflects obesity in our body, high blood pressure, high glucose level, and weakness of our muscles. So this is hypersecretion. And hyposecretion of corticoid causes Addison's disease, characterized by low blood glucose level, low blood pressure, and weakness. So students, please take a note of this situation, right? And these very carefully. If you are students of bio, opting bio in your higher classes, doing NEET, then please keep it in mind, start keeping it in mind, right? So students, the lecture has gone now of about 40 minutes. We will do the next part of it in the next video. For this time, it's time to say goodbye now. We will do the remaining portions in the next videos. Please revise it and understand it. If you face any problem, you can write in a comment section of our channel. Thank you for watching the video. We will meet in the next video, next part of it. Thank you. If you have understand understood it well, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel, for which I will thank you. Please don't forget. It's our energy. It increases our adrenaline rush. Thank you. Goodbye.